Well, you're right on time for breaking today. Good evening from where you're watching us from. My name is Joel Church and our sign language interpreter is Tracy Dorcas. We have a lot in line for you and these are our top stories. KANU Chairman Gideon Moi officially declares to fly the party's ticket in 2022. Deputy President William Ruto forced political parties that do not have a national representation. Over 300 Pakistanis arrested for being in the country illegally, following the government's crackdown on illegal immigrants in Kenya. Talk to us via social media platforms at Switch TV Kenya, Joel Chacha M on Twitter, as well on Facebook, Switch TV Kenya, and Joel Chacha. Send in an SMS via 111 444 111. We start with matters politics. KANU party has unveiled its party leader Gideon Moi as its presidential flag bearer. Speaking today during the event at the Bomas of Kenya, KANU chairman Gideon Moi dared his political rivals eyeing the presidency in 2022 general elections to meet him at the ballot, further reaffirming that the time is right for change and the future of the country lies in his victory. Our very own Robert Ouma has more.
Dance, speeches,
we must do things differently.
And red was the color in the air. The race to the top seat on the land has just begun and the competitors are picking their racing tags. Today, KANU being the third in line after Jubilee and Ruto's United Democratic Alliance to take what they termed as the boldest step, unveiling the flag bearer under the party's ticket.
I propose and I second His Excellency Gideon Moi.
The chosen Gideon Moi, taking the bull by the horns, has challenged his political rivals to meet his winning team party at the ballot.
Volume iko sawa ama niongeze?
Kwa hiyo Gideon, nikwambia wewe simama imara. Tuko pamoja.
KANU now leaves many questions unanswered, especially on the future of One Kenya Alliance. However, the party leaders have insisted on backing KANU in the race, but not sure who shall fly the ticket in Oka.
I want to assure you, my brother, we will walk this journey together.
Tuko tayari kushikana mikono kwa mkono, tutembee bega kwa bega.
Kalonzo in his speech seemed to hint that on his personal capacity would consider working with Gideon Moi.
Hata kama wengine watakuacha, you know I can't. Na kama wengine watatuacha, na kama wengine wataniacha mimi, najua Gideon hawezi kuniacha.
The warm-ups comes at a time when IEBC is set to roll out a 30-day mass registration program in the country, starting in 4 days' time. Today's color, dance and speeches marks the beginning of 313 days of KANU's toil as they aim to clinch the presidency in the next year general elections. Robert Ouma, Switch TV at the Bomas of Kenya in Nairobi.
Meanwhile, Deputy President William Ruto has faulted political parties that do not have a national representation. The DP was speaking at his current residence, has continued to front his ideology of involving all Kenyans to participate in the political decisions of the country. Sheila Ngetich reports.
Deputy President William Ruto keeps treading the political tightrope in the country. He has condemned political parties formed along tribal lines and at the same time against the political conversations being taken over by wealthy personalities.
Ile neki yako inaweza kuendeshwa kwa lugha ya mama. Wewe ni problem kwa Kenya kwa sababu nyinyi ndio mnachangia ukabila katika taifa letu la Kenya. Maamuzi ya Kenya hayatafanywa tena na watu wachache kwa sababu wako na pesa ama ushawishi ama influence.
Machakos Town Member of Parliament Victor Munyaka, in attendance, has challenged Wiper leader Kalonzo Musyoka to share with Kenyans his manifesto and development agenda rather than criticizing the deputy president.
Alisema yeye ni Mumeru Madaraka. Okay, tunaweza elewa. Because you cannot complain Wakamba wakisaidiwa. Because hata yeye yako na ruhusa ya kukuja na 1,100 ama 1 million, even 20 million.
MCAs present, on the other hand, vowing to back Dr. Ruto's 2022 presidential bid.
Kumwambia mzee Raila, ndugu yangu, meli ng'oa nanga na tumesafiri kwenda mbali, hapa ufuki bwana.
Wale ya kuenda kuomba kiti wameanza kuomba rais awasaidie kupata kiti. Sasa wale watu wakipata hiyo kiti watawezana naye kweli?
The Deputy President was speaking today at his current residence in Nairobi County when he met grassroots and religious leaders from Machakos County. Sheila Ngetich, Switch TV.
Still a focus on matters politics, ODM party leader Raila Odinga met with more than 25 members of parliament from Allied to Deputy President from the Mount Kenya region. The meeting, which comes in the backdrop of a decisive raid targeting Mount Kenya region, aims at popularizing Odinga's presidential bid. Flora Limuki now reports.
As the scramble for the vote-rich mountain region continues to heighten, ODM party leader Raila Odinga has today met a section of current and former members of parliament from Mount Kenya region, allied to Kieleweke faction of the Jubilee Party. The meetings aim to craft presidential campaign strategy for the ODM leader in the region.
This march to the top of the mountain is basically a march of Kenyan people to liberate themselves, so that we can reach that glory land that was envisioned by the founding fathers of our nation.
This meeting comes a few days after the former Prime Minister met with Mount Kenya Foundation business moguls led by Peter Munga.
And you know, Baba has already met with our business people. And as elected leaders, we also wanted to know the interest of our people. And today, we have started a new journey and we're going to work together.
Led by National Assembly Majority Leader Amos Kimunya and Kieni Member of Parliament Kanini Kega, the Kieleweke Brigade now says they will support Odinga in a bid to further spur the president's agenda.
The history to this meeting is some 4 weeks back. We received instructions from our president, Honorable Uhuru Kenyatta, His Excellency, to work together with his brother, Honorable Raila, as we build on the efforts they are making in uniting the country.
At the same time, the legislators have criticized Deputy President William Ruto for ignoring the region's influence in his 2022 presidential bid.
We also have liked the approach of Baba coming to talk to us, humbling himself, because we are tired of people chest thumping and, you know, looking for our support by force.
The Serena meeting was attended by Kieni Member of Parliament Kanini Kega, Kipipiri Member of Parliament Amos Kimunya, and Muranga Women Representative Sabina Chege, among others. Flora Limuki, Switch TV.
Away from that, the Communications Authority of Kenya, CA, has today unveiled a 3-month awareness campaign to protect children and their digital footprint as it steps up the advocacy or responsible use of internet. The Child Online Protection, that is COP, Phase 2, focuses on children and youth as the primary messengers and advocates to help promote awareness and on benefits and vulnerabilities in the cyberspace amongst their peers. Safi Godana reports.
The usage of internet has become indispensable globally, particularly with the advent of the COVID-19 that pushed almost everything online, from education, meetings and business transactions, among others.
The Internet Society did report a surge of 70% in internet usage in 2020.
Kenya is no exception.
From the onset of the COVID-19 in this country in March 2020 up to December 2020, data from the authority showed that there was an average increase of 4% in internet subscriptions.
Internet access by children and the youth has also increased over the years, owing to an increase in the availability of network and consumer-friendly tariffs. The authority is now collaborating with the industry players and partners to ensure child online protection at all times.
Increased use of internet continue to expose more users to cyber attacks, with the latest data by the authority showing that the cases of online crime rose by 37.8% to 38.7 million in the quarter ending June 2021. A majority of these threats were malware attacks, recording the highest jump of 6.9% to stand at 23 million.
The focus on promoting a safe digital engagement for our youthful generation is designed to build the confidence of the new younger users whilst establishing important guidelines for future generations.
CAK has also commenced deliberations with the Teachers Service Commission TSC in an effort to design a capacity building program for schools' ICT teachers to get the necessary skills. All said and done, the bottom line of the initiative is to make sure that children are protected from harmful content, sexual exploitation and abuse, cyberbullying, and misuse of their private information through parents, teachers, and service providers in order to make the information superhighway a safer place for all. Safi Godana Mambo, Switch TV.
We shift our focus now to the corridors of justice. Over 300 Pakistans have been arrested for being in the country illegally, following the government's crackdown on illegal immigrants in Kenya. The government has also suspended a visa-free transit agreement with Pakistan, citing fears of the spread of COVID-19, citing that most of them are not adhering to the Ministry of Information COVID-19 protocols. Mariam Jahid with more details.
In the past 1 week, Kenyans on various platforms have been speculating about an influx of Pakistanis in Nairobi and its environs, with the rising concerns of the Pakistanis not wearing face masks. This prompting the government to break the silence, claiming they are tourists on transit to Saudi Arabia. Subsequently, the government started the crackdown on foreigners at Waiyaki Rail Gardens, located on Waiyaki Way, where it is believed a huge number of Asians were being hosted. According to sources that reached out to Switch TV, the Pakistanis are on transit to Saudi Arabia and are on quarantine in Kenya ahead of their trip to Saudi Arabia, escaping the tough quarantine rules in the Middle East nation. According to Interior PS Karanja Kibicho, the government will be strict going forward and will restrict the number of foreigners transiting through the country. Mariam Jahid, Switch TV, Nairobi.
The long-awaited ruling for the Youth Enterprise Fund scandal has officially been settled. Nairobi Anti-Corruption Court Chief Magistrate Douglas Ogoti has sentenced businessman Mukuria Ngamau. The director of Corandam Limited has been fined 720.8 million Kenya shillings or serve a 27-year sentence for defrauding the Youth Enterprises Development Fund of 180 million Kenya shillings. Ngamau has been convicted for 5 counts of conspiracy to commit an economic crime and lawful acquisition of public property and making false documents. Well, we now take a short commercial break. We'll be back with more. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Breaking Today. My name is Joel Church and our sign language interpreter is Tracy Dorcas. Moving on, Kenyan saving culture has been dwindling, blaming overselling of loans. This comes at a time when the country's saving ratio is still lagging behind its peers at 12%. According to data by the Central Bank of Kenya, the savings ratio improved in Kenya from 5.4% in 2019 to 12% in 2020 and projected to wheel around this year, meaning no expected increase. Chepto Boit with more details.
Kenya's saving culture has been termed poor due to an increase in loan overselling by money lending agencies. The Central Bank of Kenya Financial Sector Stability Report for 2020 has released data showing fixed deposit accounts held by Kenyans that have gained 64.8 billion shillings in the quarter ending June, translating to an increase of about 720 million shillings every day in the period, making fixed bank deposits hit a historic high.
Thank you very much.
Maisha Microfinance Chief Executive Irenias Gishana says Kenya's financial market is heavily focused on borrowing, adding that saving is the key to the future growth of the country.
There's been a lot of focus on lending specifically, and we've not paid attention to some of the important components that are covered under Vision 2030.
The data indicates that total deposits in the microfinance banks increased by 12.3% from 43.9 billion shillings as at December 2019 to 49.3 billion shillings in December 2020. According to the report, total deposits in commercial banks grew by 15.2% from 3.6 trillion shillings as at December 2019 to 4.1 trillion shillings as at December 2020, a growth attributable to mobilization through agency banking and digital platforms. Frida Owinga, the founder of Passion Profit, has insisted on the need to educate small businesses on the saving culture.
So with the Profit First methodology, we are not throwing out the income statements, but we're teaching the small business owner or any kawaida Kenyan to understand that every money that comes to you, you must pay yourself first.
Deposit accounts accrue higher interest based on the duration agreed upon between the individual and the bank. Chepto Boit, Switch TV.
Our focus now matters health. In a visit to the National Vaccine Depot to inspect the storage facilities of COVID-19 vaccines, the Ministry of Health has urged Kenyans to come out in large numbers and register for the Pfizer vaccine, adding that the window of use of the Pfizer vaccine is 30 days before the expiry. At the same time, the government has been urged to ensure swift transportation of the vaccines from the depot to different counties to ensure the vaccines are properly stored before use. Meanwhile, the country has recorded 260 positive cases of COVID-19, 109 recoveries and 4 deaths.
Pfizer is stored at minus 70 degrees. Now, once you remove it at minus 70, then it is thawed and it can be used at 2 to 8 degrees. So when it is in use, it is 2 to 8 degrees, and that's when it lasts for 30 days. You can then refreeze it at minus 15 if you have to keep it longer.
Time now for business and news. Kenya Electricity Generating Company PLC has nearly tripled its allocation of procurement opportunities to youth, women and persons with disabilities. This revelation being made during a sensitization meeting with women-owned suppliers where KenGen Managing Director and CEO Rebecca Miano said KenGen has set aside specific procurement opportunities to be awarded to the special category groups under the Access to Government Procurement Opportunities AGPO program.
Justified to some extent the myths and misconceptions that may discourage women from participating in government tenders or KenGen tenders. And I look forward to seeing more women-owned enterprises in the list of bidders, not only for AGPO, but all other KenGen categories.
Meanwhile, Fresh Produce Consortium FPC has agreed to collaborate with Kenyan Consulate in Dubai to do due diligence prior to end shipment so as to safeguard Kenyan exporters. Additionally, Kenya will will need to open an office in United Arab Emirates to facilitate and monitor the market. This is to curb complaint of Kenyan exporters for non-payment from UAE importers. FPC Kenya will also collaborate with both Kenya and UAE government to deal with drug importers regarding the payment issues that the stakeholders have agreed an upfront payment as commitment from the importers before any exports.
And one of the things that you know the EU, and because I had the privilege to stay there for a long time,
we are not going to compromise on quality going forward. Export quality is export quality. Dubai, EU, anywhere. We will ensure what crosses our borders meets the minimum standard set by both of us so that we are clear on the quality and that we are not going to compromise. And if you compromise now, you will be the one bringing the industry down. Anybody who has not been paid, please get in touch with us. We are not guaranteeing you will get your money, but we will work together with the mission to be able to comp together the documentation and see what can be done.
Elsewhere, the Ministry of ICT has commenced a relocation of fiber optic cable along the Keno-Marua Road, which is under construction. The project is slated to take not more than 1 year, so as to allow smooth construction of dual carriage from Keno town of Murang'a County to Marua in Nyeri. ICT and Innovations Principal Secretary Jerome Ochieng noted that the project will be implemented under strict timelines, saying efforts are directed to ensure the dual carriage project is completed by mid next year. The relocation of the fiber optic cable, the PS added, will not disrupt internet areas connected to the cable.
So let me say that the Ministry of ICT, in conjunction with the Ministry of Infrastructure through KENHA, is implementing this very important project, that is the permanent relocation of the fiber cable along the Keno-Marua Road, which will be carrying all the telecommunication companies' ICT infrastructure and also the other utilities that also will be carried along the road as the project is being done. So this particular project is in preparation for the dual carriage that is due to commence, which at the same time the project also will be concluded. Like we have heard from the engineers, we are talking about the ability to conclude this project as early as next year.
Away from that, electronic device manufacturers will now be forced to create universal charging solutions under a newly proposed rule by the European Commission. The aim is to reduce waste by encouraging consumers to reuse existing chargers when buying a new device. Apollo James expounds.
Apple has warned that the move of having USB-C chargers on all smartphones will harm innovation. The tech giant is the main manufacturer of smartphones, using a custom charging port as its iPhone series uses an Apple-made Lightning connector. It added that it aims to make every Apple device and usage carbon neutral by 2030. Most Android phones come with USB micro-B charging ports or have already moved to the more modern USB-C standard. New models of the iPad and MacBook use USB-C charging ports, as do high-end phones models from popular Android manufacturers such as Samsung and Huawei. The changes would apply to the charging port or the new device body, whereas the end of the cable connecting to a plug could be a USB-C or USB-A. According to a Commission Impact Assessment study in 2019, around half of chargers sold with mobile phones in the European Union in 2018 had a USB micro-B connector, while 29% had a USB-C connector and 21% a Lightning connector. The proposed rules will apply to smartphones, tablets, cameras, headphones, portable speakers, handheld video games consoles. Other products including earbuds, smartwatches and fitness trackers were not considered for technical reasons linked to size and use condition. The proposal also standardizes fast charging speeds, meaning devices capable of fast charging will be charged at the same speeds. Apollo James, Switch Television.
Time to now get sporty. Giant sports betting company Mozart Kenya has today launched a competition that will see lucky winners walk away with brand new SUV Toyota Urban Cruiser, courtesy of Mozart Bet. Speaking during the launch, Mozart Bet Kenya marketing manager Frank Ochieng has insisted that the competition, which seeks to reward Mozart Bet users, is scheduled to run from 1st October to 19th December. Participants will be required to place a multi-bet over minimum 4 games with a minimum stake of 50 shillings.
They are punters, wawekezaji. They enjoy placing multi-bets, long tickets. They call them SGR, they call them Mshipi. You know, they have all these kinds of interesting names for multi-bet. So we decided, hey, why can't we do something interesting for these multi-bet lovers? And that's why we came up with this promotion that will run starting from tonight, 1st October. Up till 19th December 23:59, that's midnight. Yes, the rules are simple. Just place a multi-bet of a minimum of 4 games with a minimum stake of 50 shillings. And if you win your multi-bet, then it will qualify for the promotion. We'll have a widget on our website. That is where you can see the top standings, the current standings, the top 10. And from number 9 to 10, from number 2 to 10, sorry, we'll also give them some betting.
Well, that's all here on Breaking Today. But of course, today being on Thursday, Frederick Mutiredi is already in the studio and Tipping Point is up next. Fred, what do you have for us today?
All right, we're looking at the state of the nation, and of course, there were politics this week. We're looking at Mount Kenya politics. ODM party leader, Raila Odinga, has climbed the mountain. Will the mountain receive the ODM party leader? We'll be discussing that. Have so much more prepared for us. So we have Loima MP, Jeremiah Lomurukai. We have Robert Alai, who is aspiring MP, and Gloria Oroba, who is a youth policy analyst and also aspiring member of parliament.
Our dear viewer, you can't afford to miss that, and keep the conversation going across our social media platforms, Switch TV Kenya. My name is Joel Church and our sign language interpreter is Tracy Dorcas. My director has been Dede. Until next time, do have a safe good night.